Hey guys, it's Cassie aka Cats and Camera, and today I'm doing my April wrap up. If you saw my TBR type of thing in April at the beginning, I was all, oh, this is going to be a chill month, I'm not planning on really much, and then showed a massive stack of books that I wanted to read. And then later on also did a video for the Tome Top haul, where I also said, oh, I want to read these books as well. But even so, I did read less this month than I have in previous months. That's still 7 and a bit things. I know what you're thinking, how can you read a bit of a thing? So I'll just go into that one first, even though it was one of the last things I read, and that was, boom, I caught up on Heartstopper. This is released every few weeks, I think, and I never want to read just a little tiny snippet. So I've been leaving Heartstopper since the beginning of January, so I had a nice chunk of it to read. It's great, it's cute, but we are getting to some serious stuff now, some stuff that you might know about if you've read Solitaire by Alice Oseman. But yes, we're getting there now. It's still cute, it's still lovely, but some issues are coming in. You should read it, it's free online. Do it. Cute and gay. So yes, now getting on to the 7 things that I read. First of those was a book I read for review, and that is A Mark on My Soul by Jordan Green. And it's basically a gay contemporary story. It involves religion and school, and there's also a little tiny bit of a Simon versus the Homo Sapiens agenda plot where a main character comes out as gay quite near the beginning of the story, and then someone online starts talking to him who's also gay, and they're trying to figure it out. But that's not the main bit of the book. We do find pretty early on who that is, and then mainly it's about their relationship and his relationship with his friends and his family. And yeah, I had some feelings about this. I'm not going to go crazy into it. I did write quite a long review on Goodreads if you want to check it out. My link's always down there, and you know, friend me while you're there. But this book did have an aspect that I kind of get pretty annoyed at. Not that it's a bad aspect, but there's sort of like a religious aspect of this that like really annoys me, just because these sort of people exist, and I hate that. So at one point I was reading this book, I was like, fuck this book, I hate it, this is annoying, it's shit. But it's not. It's good, it's just very, very annoying because certain aspects of religion and their prejudice towards gay people happen in this book, and it just really irritates me that this actually exists in real life, and reading about it really infuriates me. And yeah, if you want to read the full review, check it out on Goodreads. But I did enjoy it. I gave it like a 3.75ish. Like I said, it took me a minute. I actually had to leave it for 2 days before I wrote my review, because I was like, am I going to give this a 3 star, a 4 stars, a no stars? It pissed me off, but it also made me cry, and I was invested, so what should I do? But yeah, I did enjoy it, but it's not for the faint-hearted. It's very sad, and yeah, there you go. Next up, I read Wonder by RJ Palacio. This was a buddy read with Simone over at Me, Simone and I, so definitely check her channel out. She's great. Go and support her, subscribe to her if you're not already. And yeah, this is a book that I feel a lot of people have read. It's really popular, but I finally got around to reading it and I loved it. It's so good. I love Oggy, I love all of his friends and his family. It's just great. This is about main character August, who is quite young. I think he's like maybe 12, 13, I can't remember exactly. But he's at school, and he's finally gone to a real school. He's been homeschooled all of his life because he does have some disfigurements, some facial disfigurements, and his parents like to protect him, obviously. But finally he goes to school, and it's just a great book. What I didn't expect from this book was the multiple perspectives we see from a lot of different characters' point of view. But I did think that was a really great way of doing this, because certain things happen or certain characters say something and then we think, oh, damn you, character. But then we'll see it from their point of view and we're like, oh, they're such a cinnamon roll. They're just a kid. They're trying to fit in. They're doing all this, that and the other because it's cool or it's the norm. And it's just a great way to show that people at school, they can be mean, but also they can be great and friendly and nice. And towards the end, one of the teachers or the principal or something does a really great speech about being nice, and it was just really heartwarming and a great book. And I really need to watch the film because it's on Netflix, and I definitely want to get to it and see if they do the book justice, because this was so good. Next up is another book that I got through for a review, and that is The Lights by Nathan Cusack. This one is set in England, which I always appreciate. It always makes me happy when I know what's going on because I know the place. And this is like a sci-fi sort of Rapture versus aliens type of business, and I just really love the commentary in this, whether these lights which happen to have descended from the sky, and if you get in their sort of peripheral, they suck you up into the sky and no one ever sees you again. And yeah, certain people think it's God and it's the rapture and they're taking up people to go to heaven. Certain people think it's aliens and they've come to destroy the planet and take the people away and do weird experiments on them. And I just love the fact in this that there's characters from both sides of the fence that do good things and bad things. It's not like saying religion's right or atheism / aliens is right. There are good characters that believe that it's aliens or something random happening. There's good characters that are religious, and there are bad characters that think that they can just do whatever they want because this is happening and they don't believe in anything, and there are bad characters that are doing it in the name of religion. So yes. And yeah, I just thought this was a really interesting read. We follow our main character Stephen, who is a stammerer, and I think I've only ever read one other book where there's on-page stuttering, which I think is great because a lot of people have a stutter and it's one of them reps that you don't see very often, so plus for that. And yeah, it's just really cool because there's loads of different theories being talked about. We see like the news stations trying to send cameras up to the lights and see what's going on, and it's kind of an ambiguous ending, which I really appreciated. Next up I read Magnus Chase and the Ship of the Dead by Rick Riordan. This is the last book in the Magnus Chase series, and I don't know whether I was just in a little bit of a slumpy mood because, I mean, there was a week in April where I didn't read anything, I just watched Drag Race the whole time. And I think this might have been towards the beginning of that week because I started this in March and then I put it down and then I carried on in April. So it kind of wasn't the best for me, which really, it was quite disappointing. Not the story in general, I still gave it 4 stars, but I was disappointed in the fact that it wasn't as good as the other books in the series because I love the Magnus Chase series. As soon as I read the first book I was like, this is my favourite Rick Riordan series. I've read one book but I've decided that. And I felt like this didn't quite live up to that favourite series of Rick Riordan sort of hype that I gave myself. But I still really enjoyed it. I still love all the characters. I feel like we needed to see more of Jack because who doesn't want to see a sentient talking sword who's really funny? I definitely do, so we need more of him. But yeah, I think this was just a case of me being a bit slumpy while I read it, so maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. Not that I thought it was bad, like I said, I gave it 4 stars. It just wasn't as good as the other Magnus Chase books, which is why I felt a little bit disappointed. I think the ending, like, fight maybe just wasn't the best for me. I was hoping for more because of the build-up. But it's still a great story, it's still got great characters, and it was set in Norway, a bit of it is, and I love Norway, so you know, trash for Norway. But yeah, there we go. Next up, I finally got on that Saga hype and read Saga Volume 1. This one, I was kind of a little bit sort of going into it because everyone loves it so much and I was scared that the hype was going to make it not great for me. But I did really enjoy it. I love the artwork in here. The character designs are great, I love that. The guys with the TV heads, who would have thought of that? Love it. That woman, I can't remember her name. This bitch, great design. That's not even all of her design if you haven't seen this, but I didn't want to spoil it for you. And yeah, it was definitely a fun read. I enjoyed this, want to carry it on. And I wouldn't say the hype is real because it's not like the best thing I've ever read, but I really, really enjoyed it. So the hype is acceptable. This is a sci-fi series where 2 people from different races who have been warring for a long ass time get together, have a baby, and then everyone wants to kill them. Next up we have another arc that I had to review, and that is The Nowhere by Chris Gill. This again is a gay contemporary. If you offer me a gay contemporary, I'm going to want to review it because I love gay contemporary. But unfortunately I did give this one 3 stars. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best. This is set kind of in the past and now. I think it's 1997. And then nowadays with the same character, and it's about this guy who lives on the farm with his brother and his dad in Australia. It's called The Nowhere because there's no other people around them for miles and miles. He doesn't see anybody, he doesn't do anything, he's not allowed to leave the farm. His dad's a bit abusive, and then another family move into the farm next to them, and it's about this budding friendship between him and the guy that lives in the next farm. He's gay, he starts having feelings for this other guy, and there's this whole mystery of something that happened back in the day, and that's why we were also seeing it from nowadays and his point of view and what's going on. I feel like the mystery aspect was too obvious of what had happened because of things that happened in the present day, which kind of gave away what happened in the past. And I mean, here's the thing. I know he was on a farm and there's nobody for miles and miles and miles, and he just needed somebody his own age because his brother was quite younger than him. But my god, Jake, the kid that moves in next door, he's an absolute dick. He has no redeeming qualities. The first time you meet him, he's talking about how he was fighting all the time at his old school and he's just a knob, and he clearly only wants to be there for his own gain and to try and get off the farm and try and make this plan of leaving the farm and getting a car somehow. Just no redeeming qualities. So, you know, I know he's the only guy around, but personally for me, I feel like even if someone's the only person there and you might feel attraction to them at the start because they're pretty, I feel like beauty is only skin deep, and if someone's a horrible person, they start looking horrible on the outside, and if someone's a great person, they start looking more attractive. So I feel like it doesn't matter how hot Jake is, he's a prick. Again, if you want to read my full review, check it out on Goodreads because I talk a little bit more about the story or whatever, you know. And last but not least, for the Tome Topper Readathon, I read The Seawatch by Adrian Tchaikovsky. And let me just say right now, right here, every single time I've talked about this book on here or on Instagram, I've called it The Sea Witch. And literally 300 pages into this book, I looked at the cover and thought, that says The Seawatch, not The Sea Witch. So apologies for every other time I've ever talked about this book. It's called The Seawatch. Yes. Literally reading this like, bitch, where's this witch? Why is there no witch coming in? It's not about a witch, chill out. But yeah, this is book 6 in the Shadows of the Apt series, which is a series that's steampunky, which is political, which has got war, and follows a bunch of different characters. They all have different sort of abilities, they all have different kindred that they're attached to. They are all human, but they're attached to different sort of animals and bugs and stuff like that. Even though sometimes I accidentally picture actual bugs just really big, but they're not, they're humans. So for example, the ant kindred can all talk telepathically to each other, the wasp kindred can fly and shoot a sting out of their hand, that sort of business. And yeah, 6 books in, can't really talk much about this, but we meet more kindreds, we find out about more races in this book, we follow a specific character in this book, whereas in previous books we'll follow loads of different characters. But I still really enjoyed this, so I think it's kind of a testament to this book that you can follow one character and be really invested and really interested in it, even though, like the book before, you could follow several different characters all in different parts of the world, and it's still engaging. So yes, check this out if you like fantasy, if you want something a bit steampunky, if you like your books with politics and war, and if you're not scared of main characters dying, because people do actually die in this series. Take notes, Sarah J. Maas, soz, shade. But yeah, great series, 10 books in the series, check it out. So yeah, there we go, those are all the books I read in April. Even though there was less than another month, there's still a shitload, so great reading month. Like I mentioned earlier, there was a whole week in April that I didn't read anything because I didn't feel like it and I just watched Drag Race. So never feel like you need to force yourself to read something. If you're not in the mood, don't do it because you won't enjoy the book. So yeah, let me know down below what you read in April, or if you've read any of these, let me know what you thought about them. If this is your first video by me and you enjoyed them, please check out some of the others, and if you continue to enjoy them, please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I'll see you in a few days with another video. Bye.